Hi guys, Ursi here, and behind me is a new redstone contraption that I've invented. This is a dispenser crafter. Let's take a look how it works. So we have input here for string and for sticks. They work together to craft bows from this crafter. They get pooped out into a dispenser which is faced into this crafter, which also has a source of redstone dust and cobble. And this gets pulsed at regular intervals. You can see the light flashing on the top to show you, and every time it does, it's going to poop a dispenser into this barrel. To build this, you'll need 2 crafters. You'll need about half a stack of building blocks. I've gone for white concrete here just because I like how it looks. You'll want some chests, 4 minimum. You may need some more. You can optionally have a storage container for the crafter to poop the dispensers out into, or if you're going to use a water stream, you won't need this. You'll need some observers, 3 of those, a dropper, a target block, 5 hoppers, 8 comparators, 4 repeaters, 6 redstone torches, and some redstone dust. You'll need 9 of those. You'll want a lever to disable the crafter while you're doing the build, because you don't want it accidentally going off and losing its programming. You may want some additional chests if you want to increase your buffer, and if you're not providing extra bows from another source, then you may want a composter to reduce lag. You're going to need at least 1 bow to help program the system, and you're going to need a source of these 4 items to provide to it. You'll definitely need some of these to program the system to start with. So let's get building. Due to the rotational flexibility of the crafter, we can actually have this device facing down or across like we have on the left. So this time we're going to create it facing down. First thing we're going to do is put a lever here. This will, like I said, will lock it so that we can program it. Next thing up, we want to put a bow in the center, and we're going to stick some cobble around the outside. And then redstone at the bottom. You don't need 64 in each of these slots, but it helps. You're going to need to fill it in anyway. Next up, we're going to put in some blocks behind the crafter here, and we'll put a redstone repeater on this block, and 2 ticks, and a redstone dust. And then next to that repeater, we want a target block, and then we're going to build a 3x3 for the clock to go on. So we'll put some blocks here and an extra block up there. We can put a couple extra on the side like this, and we want our redstone input is going to be here. We want a repeater next to that on full ticks, and we're going to need a comparator just here on subtract mode. Then we can put in a comparator fading clock, so a comparator there, and then we'll put in some redstone dust here, and here, and lastly a repeater just there. And there we go. Next we want a observer on top of that, observing the comparator, and then we want an observer, no, not like that, an observer like this. There we go. And so what that will do is it will observe the clock as it pulses and send a pulse into the crafter. Okay, next up we're going to need to set up our dropper, input. So let's put a dropper here and facing into the crafter, just like that. And this is where the bows are going to be stored. And so what happens is when the repeater powers the crafter, it's also going to power the dropper, and the crafter will go first and the dropper will go second. But while it's powering the crafter, these hoppers will be locked. So the only place for the bow to go is the middle slot. And so we put a chest on top of each of these hoppers. We only need 1 on top of the cobble really, but if you want some more buffer, we'll put more in there. And then we add in redstone dust in one side and cobble in the other. We should probably fill up the chests as well. Let's just get that done quickly. Like so. And we'll do the same for the redstone. Like so. There we go. Then we don't need to worry about it. Now we can move on to the next bit. So we don't want this system to run out of cobble or redstone, because obviously we're relying on that slot in the middle being the only one that's empty. So we want to make sure that if either of these input sources are empty, we stop the machine's clock. So we're going to put a comparator looking at both of these chests to see what's going on. So we'll put a block there, and we'll put a block on top of that target block, and let's put comparators on top of each of those blocks we've just placed. And then on the back of those blocks, we want a block. On the back of this comparator, sorry, we want a block, and like so. And we want to put torches on each of the backs of these, like so. Oh, no, not like that. There we go. This is where we put the lever lever on because we accidentally just powered the torch. We didn't mean to, and we would have lost our programming if we hadn't done that. Next, we put a block there with the dust on and a torch. So you can see now, because there's no input coming in on this comparator, we've got an active torch, and so the redstone dust is on below it, which means the torch on that is not activated and the clock below is not pulsing. So next we're going to put our source of bows coming in. So there are two places we can put this hopper. Let's put it here for ease. If you were going to have a chest and you wanted an even larger buffer of bows, you could put the hopper pointing into the side, but we'll put it here for now. And you could put a chest in there like that if you were going to have an input of bows from, say, a skelly farm or something. But we're not, so we're going to put a composter on top there just to reduce the lag. So now, next up, what we need to do is set up our crafter that is going to be crafting bows. So let's put a block there just temporarily. And we want a crafter, and we want to place that just here. And we want to program that. So we're going to program that for a bow, like so. Some sticks. Again, I'm going to fill this up. You don't need to, but it's probably easier to guarantee that you're not going to run out and lose the programming. And so now what happens is we want to be able to trigger creation of the bows, specifically when we run out of bows in that hopper. So we'll put a redstone repeater on here, and then we want to put an observer next to that. And what this will do is every time we need to create one bow, we'll actually make two. There's always going to be plenty of material in there because we're going to do the similar trick with the comparators in a minute. And so now we want to put behind this some blocks just to place some redstone dust on. And now you can see it's pulsing a bunch of times. It's going to make a bunch of bows for us. And you can see it now filled in, and it's filled the whole dropper and that hopper. Okay, just like so. Next up, we want to feed in a supply of sticks and string. So we're going to put hoppers pointing into this crafter. We'll put one on the side there and one on the other side. And then we can either put two chests or one. If you want one chest, you can take these two out, and then we need to put a block above the crafter just so we can read a comparator signal through it. However, if we, you may as well put in an extra chest here and an extra chest just there, just for symmetry. And there we go. We can put a block down next to that observer and comparators on both. One there and one there. Put blocks on the back of those, just like we did with the other side, and put torches on those. And there we have it. We now have a system that is producing, or could be producing, dispensers. You can see the clock actually is going off in the background as we're in this chest. You can see it going there. So we want to fill this up with sticks, and we want to fill the other one up with. Why are they all draining away? Oh, that's right. We created a bunch, didn't we, when we set that up? My bad. I forgot about that. Okay, so then we put some string in here, and we should probably fill it the corresponding hopper as well. Let's go do that. Like so. And there we are. So now we have a functional clock running. It's recognized that all of those chests inputs have got the components required to manufacture dispensers. The clock is running, and the only reason it's not spitting them out right now is the lever. So if we turn that off, like so, we should now see dispensers getting pooped out. Here we go. Dispenser shower. Here we go. Hope you enjoyed.